Welcome. This is the library training session for COMM-328 Global Media with Professor Roselyn. I'm John Hickok, the communications librarian, and I'm going to walk you through this training handout. This handout is also available to you as a PDF on your Canvas class Canvas page. Okay, for the introduction, now you already know your assignment. Professor Du is giving you your COM 328 assignment is two parts. Part one, your individual part, you need to learn about another nation's media. You're going to, both from an international partner you're going to talk with and your own research. Then part two, you're going to write a term paper, a big 10-page term paper. It's either going to be on your country, your country's media system, the country that you just chose, or you can choose just some global media issue. Now, keep in mind, a big chunk of your 10-page, 3 to 5 pages of your paper is going to be on your background and literature review, which means you're going to be citing and discussing information from sources. So it's going to be two kinds of sources: scholarly or industry sources. That's going to be like journal articles, industry publications, database facts, books, ebooks, professional websites. But you can also have a little bit of general, just public sources, like common reading, like newspapers, magazines, some common websites. But most of your sources should be from A. Now, if your sources are all from B, like just a few newspaper articles and some casual websites, yeah, that's not good. You're not going to score high on your this assignment on your background literature review part of your paper. So that's why this handout is going to introduce you to all the many A resources so that you can get a good grade. Okay, now before I get to library resources, let me talk about some non-library resources that can help you. The non-library just on the internet that can help you. Let's go over them. Number one, Wikipedia. Now, you might be surprised. Why am I recommending Wikipedia? Although Wikipedia is not acceptable source to cite, you're not going to be able to cite it. And you know why. Your professors have told you it's anonymous and it's not always accurate. It is a helpful place to start with initial information. For example, Wikipedia lists and has descriptions of TV stations, radio stations, newspapers, and more for all countries of the world. So I've gone ahead and listed them some of the Wikipedia pages for TV, for radio, for newspapers, even telecom, like cellular and internet of different countries. So Wikipedia has lists of all these different radio stations, TV stations, telecom companies in other countries. There's also websites, good, legit websites that give directories of the media in different countries. First, I put them in categories. First is overall media. That's a website of all the media, newspapers, TVs, radio, cellular, everything. One of the best ones of all is the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation Media Guide. I put a star next to this one because this one's really good. Now there's not one single web page because what they did is they made a web page for all the different countries of the world. So the way you get to it is you have to get to it through Google. You got to Google search it. Okay, that's fine. You just type BBC, then type the name of your country, and then type media guide. And then it will pull up your media guide. So here's an example. I'm going to zoom in on it. I typed in BBC, I typed in Germany, and I typed in media guide. And then so here's what it looks like. This is the BBC Germany media guide. And what does it have? It has everything. It has German newspaper stations, German television stations, German radio stations, all kinds of stuff. So it's really good. So there you go. That's a legit web directory of media. Okay, some other good ones. Nation Master is a directory of overall media of all countries. The CIA Fact Book, CIA, it's our government. This is just a fact book about the whole country in general, but they do have a chapter, a section talking about the media. So you'll have to go to the fact book, but then you'll have to scroll to the section about media. How about news media? Like their news stations and news Newspaper stations, yeah. This website and this website both list news media of different countries. What about TV radio? Yep, here's a directory of all television stations in the world and radio stations in the world. And then these three are websites that give you newspaper bureaus, newspapers in different countries. How about Google? Yeah, Google also is helpful for finding information in different countries' media. You could try different keywords. For example, let's say you're trying to find the ministry that oversees telecommunications in Mexico. Okay, type Mexico government and telecommunications, and it'll bring up results. You'll get both AI results and you'll get websites results. So they're all good. The answer, of course, is Federal Telecommunications Institute, IFT of Mexico. See, in the Federal Telecommunications is the Mexican government agency that regulates blah, blah, blah. So if your single Google search box, just the plain Google search box, isn't really cutting it for you, if it's not effective, you can also try Google's advanced search. It's the same Google, here it is, but it's just more advanced because it gives you multiple boxes and more filters than just the plain single Google search box. What about Google Scholar? You've probably heard of that before. Google Scholar, and this is what it looks like right here. It's a search box, but instead of searching just websites, tries to search for scholarly articles all over the internet. That's fine. It's fine to use, but the results can yield a lot of irrelevant junk too. And sometimes the articles that pull up are not free. It's going to take you to a site that wants money for the full text. Okay, no, 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 no. Never do that. Never, never pay money for articles. What I'm going to start telling you next, right here on library resources, I'm going to show you how you can get into our library resources and you get the same articles for free. So never, never pay for articles from a Google Scholar. Okay, so let's talk about library resources. All right, your starting place for library resources is the Cal State Fullerton Library website. And here it is. It's easy to remember. Just put the word library in front of fullerton.edu. And this is it. Now, on the library's homepage, there's three menus that you need to know about that you'll use the most. You're going to click the databases icon right here to get to all the databases. That's where we store articles and information in the library, on the library's web page. You'll also click on One Search. This is right here, One Search, to get to books and ebooks. That's primarily our book and ebook menu. And by the way, I always recommend the advanced search right here because it's just more powerful. It gives you multiple boxes instead of just the single little baby box. Okay. And then finally, I want to point out, I just want to mention, if you need help, you can click the Get Help button right here. That will take you directly to a chat with librarians. Right here, you can chat with librarians. And guess what? It's 24 hours a day. Yeah, yeah, serious. Daytime is us, the full-time Cal State Fullerton librarians. We're monitoring the chat window. But even at night, you can still get help because at nighttime, we hire a night librarian service to stay awake, even like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning to get help. Okay, so there you go. Let's go in and look at some of these databases now. All right. So when you click on it, it'll give you an alphabetic list, A to Z, of all the library's databases. Here's some of the ones that I recommend for your assignment. First is a database called Global Road Warrior. And you're going to get to it just alphabetically, A, B, C, D, go to G, and go to Global Road Warrior on the databases page. What is it? It's a country profile database. This database is awesome. It pulls up a complete encyclopedic profile of every country in the world. So you type in your country, and then up will come the profile. I did a sample here. I'm just going to give you an example. I pulled up the country of Panama. And on the left sidebar is the table of contents, all about Panama, the country, the cost of living, the money, the government, everything. And then down here, they have a menu called media outlets. So you can scroll down, you can look there, media outlets, newspapers, periodicals, radios, televisions, and you can click on those and it'll give you a whole complete profile of Panama's media environment. Pretty cool. Okay, so that's handy. It's a quick and easy way to go and find information about your country. Okay, let's keep going. Now, what about scholarly journals? What if you want to find some scholarly journals discussing about your country's media? Yeah, you can. Our communication source is the name of our communication database. This is our communication database. It pulls up articles from scholarly communication journals and also sometimes industry publications too, like the broadcasting and television um, publication from that industry. Now, this is what the screen looks like from the communication source database. Now, all of these articles that it'll pull up, they usually talk about a specific aspect of the media in your country. Okay, like in Russia about an article about censorship, or in Vietnam about the development of media, or the regulations of television in UK. But these articles don't as often give you a whole overview of the whole media environment. You know, sometimes they might in their introduction, but they don't usually do that. That's why you go to Global Road Warrior. That gives you a whole overview of your country. The scholarly databases will just focus and zero on some aspect of your. So don't expect to get a whole complete overview from the scholarly journal databases. That's not what they usually do. Okay. But you can still find some good articles. Okay. So, for example, let's say I'm going to search some keyword. You just search these databases the same like you do with Google. You search with keywords the same like Google. So, for example, in here, I'll type China and I'll type broadcasting. Now, I don't want these articles go back for, 20 years, 30 years. I don't want something that old. So I recommend you always set your date limit to the last 5 years. Okay, when I do that, several articles come up. And then there's one that looks kind of interesting about some online video and broadcasting in China. Okay. Is the communication source the only scholarly database for you? No, 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 not at all. You should also consult the business database because media is a business. So the business source premier is our business database, and this will pull up articles from business journals and also industry reports instead of communications journals. And it can bring up articles about different media types in your country. So, for example, it works exactly the same way. The business one, it gives you multiple boxes. You type in your keywords. So, for example, I'll type in Spain and broadcasting. That brings up many different articles, and including an industry report. So here's a whole industry report, the broadcasting and cable TV in Spain, and this is what the report looks like. It's great. It gives you a whole different profile overview of the broadcasting and cable situation in Spain. Okay, so these are two databases for you. Now, remember I mentioned OneSearch? OneSearch is where you go to look up books and ebooks. Yeah, that's true. But OneSearch can do something else too. Although OneSearch mostly is used to find books and ebooks, it has another feature. It can search all of the library's databases at once. It'll search COMM, it'll search business, it'll search the political science, it'll search the international relations database, it'll search all of the databases all at once. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to OneSearch Advanced. There's OneSearch. You're going to click to Advanced. And this is what the advanced screen looks like. So what you do is just set your circle up at the top to articles. So there it is right there, articles. And then you can just go ahead and type your keywords. Okay, for example, I'll type Indonesia and television. So Indonesia in one box, television next box. And what happens? Many articles come up. Okay, so here's an article, the television business in Indonesia. It's coming from the Ordea Journal of Business and Economics. Okay, perfect. There would be, there's an acceptable scholarly article that you can quote and cite and use in your 10-page paper. Okay, now since I mentioned OneSearch, let's talk about what OneSearch is mostly used for. It's mostly used for finding books. So the same thing, but now you set your little circle to books and media. Now, just letting you know, there's no guarantee that our library is going to have a book or an ebook specifically about the media situation in your country. I mean, if you picked some obscure country like, Lithuania, I don't think I bought any books about the media situation in Lithuania. Um, but you might find some books partially discussing your country. Like maybe we have a book about the media landscape of Europe, and then within that they're talking about Lithuania. Yeah, that's more likely to happen. Okay, so to search one search, just go to the advanced, set the little circle up on the top to books and media in Cal State Fullerton, and then just type your keywords, the same as always. You can try different keywords. I typed here, for example, Brazil and media, but you don't have to use those keywords. You could do Brazil and television, Brazil and radio, Brazil and telecommunications, whatever. So in this example, Brazil and media, it brought up several results, such as this book. Here's a book, Brazil, Media from the Country of the Future. So here's the ebook. And this is an ebook. You don't even have to come to the library. When you find this, you just click on it in one search and it'll pull up the whole full text PDF of the book right on your screen. So you don't even have to come to the library. Okay. How about newspaper databases? hmm Yes, newspaper databases also very good for you to help find and for your research. So your country's media, or if your paper is about a global media issue, either one, yeah, those may be discussed in newspapers. Now, the library has two great newspaper databases. One is called US Newsstream. This one pulls up articles from major US newspapers like New York Times, Chicago Tribune, LA Times. We also have another newspaper database. It's a sister database called Global Newsstream. It does the same thing. It pulls up articles, but from foreign newspapers like the Times of London, Le Monde in France, the Bangkok Post in Thailand, etc. So here's what these two databases look like. They look the same because they're sister databases, US and global. And guess what? They work exactly the same way. They give you keywords. I mean, they give you boxes and you type in the keywords of what you're looking for. In this dashed box right here, I just give you some search tips. You can use these tips to help get better results and to narrow down your results. We have another database that's helpful. This is going to be kind of cool too. It's a statistics. It gives you statistics or facts. It's a database. The database is called Statista, and it brings up statistics like in a bar chart or a pie chart. Yes, you can find statistics on whatever keywords you want. This will help strengthen your research paper. So, for example, I typed the keywords Italy and television, and it brought up a whole bunch of statistics. For example, such as the number of TV sets in Italy. So here they are. There's the number in millions of TVs in Italy. So great. Statistics can help you beef up your paper so you can give some credible facts and making your paper sound very intelligent and factual. All right, the last thing that I wanted to tell you here is just some tips for you. When you're writing your paper, this is my little cheat sheet section here. When you're writing your paper, you have to write it in APA style and you have to cite or give credit to your sources. So here's the tips on how you do that. And it's really pretty easy. You just have to mention your source name and the year. That's all. And you can word it however you want. You could say, Hernandez, 2003, reported that blah, 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 blah. Or a 2003 study, Hernandez, shows that blah, 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 blah. Or in 2003, Hernandez wrote that blah, 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 blah. So any one of these ways is acceptable, but you have to cite or give credit in the two common elements, the year and the author's name. Those are the two things you have to state when in the body of your writing. Then at the end of your paper on your bibliography or works cited or references page, what those all mean the same thing. It's the list of your sources at the end, no matter how you word it. You got to list them. Okay. And you can't just list them any way you feel like it. There's a formula. It's the APA style or formula. And this is the formula: last name, comma, first initial, then the year, then the title of the article, and then the source in italics, where the source where you're getting it from. That's the formula. So these are samples right here. Just use these samples as like a template or a model, and then take your journal article or your newspaper story or your book and just follow the same model of what it looks like. Okay, so that's it. Very good. I hope you have good research and good luck with all of your searching.